For the assignment, I decided to try and do the electricity, driving, and garbage sections. As for the schedule, I picked this. For electricity, I did Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, because I needed the computer for an assignment on Tuesday, which I knew ahead of time. And for garbage and driving, I chose Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I didn't really have a reason, just sounded like the days I wanted to do. More than anything else, I just didn't want to deal with that on a Monday, so I moved them there. As a little background, it wasn't easy picking what to do because in most of these, I'm already pretty good about it in my day to day, and I'll explain more what that means specifically throughout this. For example, electricity. Usually I have my lights off anyways. Hell, they're off while I'm recording this. Probably when I'm editing this too, but I can't see the future. The main thing I use is a desktop computer, and I mostly use that to play video games. So the big issue is cutting down on those, which I did. Now, the first day I spent about an hour on the computer so I could watch the video assignment for this class. The day after that, I only really used it to check my email real quick. And on the last day, the same. I used it to check my email. So compared to normal, I ended up cutting down by 91.6%, which feels ridiculous. Compared to the electricity section, which I think I did pretty well in, it ended up being a different story with the next section, driving. I already bike to school, but I get rides home. So for the 3 days of the project, I didn't get a ride home, which ended up being really tiring. I got home, I was sweatier than normal, it was a whole thing. But when I looked at what it did, it was negligible, which sucks. I did the assignment, I didn't use a car for those days, but it barely did anything. And I thought about that, right? And the thing is that it was something. It was a change. Even if that change wasn't huge, it still was a change, which in the end is what matters about this assignment. That brings us to the last and most difficult section, garbage. You don't really notice how many little things are disposable in your day to day until it's something you have to pay attention to. I like napkins, but the ones I own and the ones at restaurants are paper. For those days, I tried to use cloth napkins where I could. And I'm an art student. I didn't really pay attention to the fact that every piece of paper has this stupid perforated edge, which is helpful, but not if you're trying not to produce garbage. But now I'm very aware. Hell, the workbook for this class has pretty much guaranteed paper scraps. That's not to say that the garbage section I was completely unsuccessful in, but I did definitely contribute some paper waste. Now, a lot of the change I made was small, but it's less about the fact that the difference is small and more about the fact that a whole class cut down on similar or the same things for a few days. And that makes a difference. While my driving or electricity or garbage might not be significant, the further you spread that out, the more effective and more sustainable we can be as a whole.